Today I'm going to be talking about TweetDeck. TweetDeck's basically just a tool to help you manage Twitter and use it more effectively. So before I show it to you and how it works, let's have a look first at what Twitter normally looks like and what's good about it, but why you might not want to use it. So this is my home feed, as you can see, and if I want to move and have a look at different things, I can have a look at my own feed, all of the tweets that I've produced, and that's fine there, and I can see all these suggestions here, and I can look at notifications and see what kinds of activities happening that relates to me, and that's all fine. Now, the issue with this is that they present a lot of information here in this one column, but if I want to look at something else, I've got to go to a completely different page to access it, like my own feed or like the notifications, or like I've been doing recently because I've been hosting it. If I want to search up a hashtag, I've got to go to search and search for the term, and then it'll come up and I can have a look at what's happening. Okay, but then if I get a notification, I'll go to the notifications tab and then I'll see what's happening, and then in order to get back into it, I've got to search for EduTweetOz again, and then it's sort of a bit of a cumbersome process. So TweetDeck is basically designed to allow you to do a whole bunch of these things and see a whole bunch of these things all at the same time. So if you go to tweetdeck.twitter.com and then simply sign in with your existing Twitter account, it'll pull everything in for you. And when you do that, the very first time you log into TweetDeck, it'll look like this. Now, it is a bit overwhelming the first time you see it, I'll admit, especially if you've been using Twitter for a while and you're used to seeing everything just as one column. But have a look at what's going on. The headings here are helpful. Home simply corresponds to your home tab in normal Twitter. This is all the people who you follow and what's going on, retweets and pictures and all that kind of thing. That's the home column here. Notifications, this column is exactly what it sounds like. You've got direct messages here, and activity is that corresponds to if you went to discover, and you can go to activity here, which tells you what people who you're following are favoriting and who they're following and what they're interested in, all that kind of thing. Okay, so that's the default view. Now, I actually don't tend to like having my messages there all the time. So if I click up in the top right corner here, I can remove this column. And activity of people I'm following also isn't something I look at all that much, so I'm going to remove that. And now I have all this extra space, so I can fill that with whatever I want. So for instance, if you go over here to add column, you can choose all these different things that you can add which will come up. For instance, you could just have, if there's a particular person who you love looking at their tweets all the time, or maybe a news site that you know updates quite frequently, you could pick user. You can pick trending, which will just tell you whatever's popular at the time. What I tend to use it for is a search. So for instance, I want to search for all of the hashtag EduTweetOz tweets. So if I add that column there, now anything that anyone posts on hashtag EduTweetOz will come up automatically. I don't have to refresh the page or anything. And at the same time, another one that I like to follow is EdChat, because I think that's pretty useful. And it'll search for a few and then it'll tell you what it finds, and there you go. Okay, now I've got space for 4 columns here. You can see there's new content coming up, but there's no, you can put as many columns as you like. So for instance, if I wanted to add another column, I want to search for, say, since I'm a maths teacher, I could search for math chat. I could put that on there, I could add that column, and it just will add on over on the right. So I can switch between columns. I know some people who use 6 or 7 columns actually, just whatever tickles your fancy. Obviously, you actually have the option to move these around. So if you click on the top left hand corner of any of the columns, for example, if I want math chat to be further over here, I can just drag that over and it'll change position for me. And I can do that with any of them, or I can get rid of that again, and I can customize it as I see fit. So you can even include additional accounts if you want. So you can go to settings and you can add accounts. So add Twitter account, as you can see, because I'm hosting at the moment, I have EduTweetOz added in there. So that allows me, if I wanted to see the home feed and the notifications for that, as well as for my normal account. So even though it's a bit overwhelming to begin with, having so much information in front of you, I actually find it more helpful because I don't have to flick between different tabs, different pages in order to see what's going on. It's all in front of me at one view. So that's why I like it, and I think it's a really helpful tool. And if you have more questions about it, please let me know.